Yes, indeed, I did rank for my Juggernaut, one of my favourite champions, actually one of my favourite buffs Kabam have ever done. And this is great because at least I get to choose a champion I like. Secondary to that would probably be an America Chavez, but I wanted to choose an attacker. And Juggernaut as a champion is a very interesting one from a signature ability standpoint. To a lot of people, Awakening the champion doesn't seem like it would be a top or decent option based on a few reasons. But I largely go with the following. Yes, the weakness passive from the Crimson Gem Sitarak is reduced, which is great because you never want to see a weakness on you. You always want to be as damage dealing, upfront and aggressive as a brawler as possible. That wasn't a sentence in the correct order, but I think you knew what I meant. And the other thing is the attacking to nullification based on unstoppable buffs ratio, and the percentage needs to increase. Currently, it's down as a 2.92% per unstoppable buffs being active. But of course that is not particularly great, especially when we consider it's 29.2% of a chance to actually nullify, which doesn't make it a consistent or decent nullification option like say Isophene or Dr. Doom would be. But effectively you'd just be power heavying and then putting a stagger debuff on. I don't know why, but in my mind, I always thought that the awakened ability for Juggernaut was about 40% if it was fully sigged up, but that's not the case. But yeah, 30% kind of helps out with Stagger because Stagger is a debuff effect that goes off. I'm sure people would kind of wonder, like, why would I need to awaken? Well, it was already awakened, that's the first thing. Why would I 200 signature or 150 signature to 200 signature? And I think, again, it's just trying to get that extra chance of having the nullification. Because Stagger's going to work, like, for 8 seconds, but then I need to be consistently aggressive in order to action. So it could be a case I strip off another buff from the enemy. And we kind of see that from time to time in the footage that I'm going to showcase. But still, the main point of things is, for me is, I wanted to rank up a champion that I particularly liked to rank for, and Juggernaut's that. Secondary to that is America Chavez. It's a fantastic champion, America Chavez, and I'm sure people would say you should have done that one instead. But it's all down to your own personal choice and what you personally like. And yes, America Chavez could be more of an attack and defense option, great for Battlegrounds, but I like Juggernaut, so big jugs. Okay, let's get into some footage right now with just finishing off some Labyrinth of Legends. It's not the greatest of starts, especially considering the fact that it's nice to see the basic crits, but you can't get the maximum of crits because of that 50k malark, which isn't particularly great. Either way, from the basic hits, you can see when you've got the Fury buff up, you've got your Unstoppables up, it is quite, it's quite nice. Now the Winter Soldier fight, of course, the obligatory, it's got to be as the norm fight. This champion just it just helps you out. Like in the day and age of MCOC having some of the trashiest AI imaginable, at least you're getting the upper hand with having a champion that's got unstoppable. So it's like, hey, you know, I'm just going to drop my block, come at me, and I'm going to do this to you right there. Or I'm going to then just be quite aggressive with the kind of like playthrough. And one other thing is like when it comes to like end-game content, because he's again a freight train, the easy to access ramp up and the fun rotation that you can have just means that fights you don't have to think too much about. And in a day and age of MCOC where complexity with nodes and that kind of fun element of just kind of trying to, you know, get around something with like many different champion options is kind of not there. I mean, you know, this is a good example on screen right now of me just being incredibly aggressive. Not the correct way to play around the node, but again, aggressive do what aggressive does, and fun can be had with just kind of like not thinking too much and just having that old school cheese option. Not like Aegon, by the way, but you know, the similar kind of aspect of, hey, I'm just going to take this champion, be aggressive and come at me, bro, and kabam, stop being so silly with your game. Either way, like it's just kind of like just easy. I didn't get the nullification, but I'm still on about like 29%, aren't I, with it? So that's is what it is. But yeah, it's always fun, isn't it? Anyway, this is where things get really fun. It's going up against the likes of Wolverine, especially on the Realm of Legends, and trying to go against that regeneration. Regeneration, Shmee-generation. It's like an absolute nothingness. You see there. Yeah, that was that was over 200k per SP2 and plus. And then the basics are just hitting like an absolute jackhammer, which he, of course, is, because he's Juggernaut. He's a Juggernaut, bitch. He's big jugs, and don't come at him. It was great to rank 3 this champion, but rank 4 him, again, you can see like just the takedown and just a pure aggression that I have right there is fantastic. Yeah, okay, if you lose your Unstoppable for whatever reason, it's just rebuilding it back again, but an SP2 and the job is always done. My ending thoughts, and as I've probably reiterated in some of the footage, is America Chavez, which, as I said, could have been the other option. The reason that I chose Juggernaut was that if champions don't have buffs, like the Cosmic line, then who would I use? And yes, there are champions that get buffs in, like Science, for example, and even Mutant, and a few others. But for me, it was all about a champion, not for all seasons, but one of these kind of god tier nukers that I could bring into something like Battlegrounds metas, take into different pieces of content, and most, if not all the time, him being that service champion to do a lot of quick ramp, easy to rotate around quick ramp, and throw an SP2 and it's game over. And there's a lot of fun crits in this. But anyway, that was my choice for my first ever non-spending rank 4 7-star. Yeah, thoughts in the comments. Nearly 100k health, by the way. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Have a lovely day and bye-bye.